To give his fiancée a fireworks display, Adrian pawned me to the notorious arms dealer rumored to kill without mercy. Evelyn is merely an adopted daughter, unworthy of being the principal wife. Livia lacks a sense of security. If I do not send Evelyn away, she may refuse to marry me. Adrian's brother asked him, I hear that man has an unpredictable temperament and kills without batting an eye. Evelyn might not survive the night if sent to him. Moreover, aren't you afraid that Evelyn might truly submit to him? Adrian, she loves me to death. This is absolutely impossible. When the time comes, a little coaxing from me, and the matter will be over. On the wedding day, when Adrian arrived, I was sound asleep in the man's arms. Seeing the dense red marks on my body, his eyes instantly reddened. Hearing Adrian's indifferent voice from the private room, my hands trembled violently. The item in my hand slipped and fell to the ground with a clatter. Evelyn? You've arrived just in time. Realizing I had overheard their conversation, Adrian showed no guilt and chuckled lightly. Surely you've heard of Leon's name by now. Rumors say his temper is lethally foul, killing to vent displeasure at the slightest annoyance. You must be exceedingly cautious when you go to him in 3 days. He spoke with righteous indignation, as if he were not the one who had personally pushed me into the inferno. I've prepared a defensive weapon for you. I'll have someone teach you how to use it shortly. For the sake of your years of affection toward me, I'll kindly advise you, be obedient when the time comes. If you displease him and end up with your brains blown out, no one can save you. The others burst into laughter. Adrian's words, however, evoked my most terrifying memories, gunshots, brains splattering everywhere, like countless sharp knives twisting in my mind, causing excruciating pain. My face paled, my body trembled as I hugged myself tightly, my legs weakening to the point of collapse. Ha ha ha, Adrian, look at her. She must be terrified by you. The legendary haughty young lady is no more than this. Adrian cast a cool glance, and everyone immediately fell silent. Seeing my condition worsening, Adrian panicked and caught my faltering body. Evelyn? Are you all right? Where do you feel unwell? I'll call a doctor. After the headache subsided, I struggled out of his arms, clenched my fists, and pleaded tremulously, I won't go. Adrian, I don't want to go there. He instantly reverted to a cold, hardened expression. This is not up to you, but whether you're sent drugged or knocked out, you can choose that much. Seeing my pallid face, he softened his tone. Leon's fireworks show isn't something just anyone can book, it demands a tremendous price. Evelyn, bear with it a little. Once Livia marries in, she'll be your sister-in-law. As long as you return alive, we'll treat you well from then on. I shook my head incessantly and glared at him fiercely. That sounds fine, but why don't you go yourself? If I die, wouldn't that suit you both perfectly? You want to marry her, I've said long ago there's no issue. I'll step aside for you both, and I swear I won't appear before you to be an eyesore anymore. Is that acceptable? Seeing my resistance to both soft and hard tactics, Adrian grew impatient. Why are you so obtuse? It's just one first night, it won't cost you a piece of flesh. An opportunity many beg for in vain, why pretend otherwise? Don't think that because you saved me back then and were adopted by our family, you can covet Livia's position. You don't seriously believe that without Livia, I'd marry you, do you? Stop dreaming your pipe dreams. Even if all the women in the world died, I wouldn't spare you a second glance. The surrounding people erupted in laughter once more. My chest heaved violently, thinking of his recent disdainful look. I spoke softly, Adrian, there's no need to humiliate me like this. I've said I'll facilitate you and Livia, and I absolutely won't trouble you anymore. Isn't it just a Leon? Isn't it just that so-called first night? No problem, I agree. But promise me, if I die, you must. Whether you live or die is none of my concern. Adrian interrupted me viciously. But you'd better die far away, an obscure country girl like you doesn't deserve to enter the White family ancestral grave. Adrian was right, I truly was an obscure country girl. From as far back as I could remember, I lived alone in the forest, without parents or relatives, my only friends the small animals in the woods. One day, a group of people suddenly entered the forest. They abducted 2 boys and tortured them until they were on the brink of death. Later, another group arrived, and the 2 sides clashed in a hail of bullets and flying flesh and blood. An uncle told me that if I got the 2 boys out, I would have lots and lots of money. But the next second, his head exploded right in front of me. Smeared with a mixture of red and white fluids across my face, I gritted my teeth and ran desperately. I didn't know what money was, only that a promise made must be kept. The forest was tangled with roots. In the end, I only managed to bring out 1 boy, who was Adrian. In gratitude, the White family adopted me as their daughter, and from then on, I stayed by Adrian's side, for 16 years. Standing at the White family gate, I sighed softly. It was time to leave. In 3 days, there would be no place for me here anymore. While packing in my room, a loud bang echoed as the locked door was violently kicked open. The next second, Livia, arm in arm with Adrian, sauntered in. Upon entering my room, she wrinkled her nose in a circle, covering it disdainfully. "Ugh, what smell is this? Evelyn, have you gotten used to being a savage and stopped bathing every day?" My hands continued moving without pause, not sparing her a glance. "Yes, but rest assured, I'll leave once I'm packed. No need to worry about me being an eyesore." "You're leaving?" Adrian's voice suddenly rose. Realizing his lapse, he cleared his throat lightly. "Where to?" I picked up my suitcase and raised an eyebrow. "To meet my new buyer early." Satisfied with that answer? Adrian's face darkened instantly. "A slut is a slut. I've never seen anyone so eager to deliver their first night at the door," Livia sneered behind me. "I heard you nearly wet yourself at Leon's name, yet now you're rushing to throw yourself at him. Can't find anyone as cheap as you in the entire capital, can we?" I took a deep breath and slapped her hard across the face. "Ah!" Livia shrieked and buried herself in Adrian's arms, sobbing. Adrian immediately cupped her face, examining it closely. "Let me see, does it hurt?" Livia's eyes reddened, tears falling like a broken string of beads. "It hurts so much, Adrian. We're marrying in 3 days, what will we do then?" "Evelyn, if I said something wrong, an apology would suffice. Why resort to such violence against me?" Adrian soothed her gently, but when he looked at me, his eyes instantly frosted over. "If Livia suffers any mishap, I'll make you pay tenfold." "Apologize to Livia?" I scoffed. "When she insulted me, why didn't you make her apologize to me?" He sneered coldly. "What are you to deserve an apology from my wife?" Livia, tears in her eyes, tugged tremulously at his sleeve. "Adrian, forget it, it was my fault first. If she disfigures me, it's what I deserve." "Livia, you did nothing wrong, the woman of Adrian must be lawless." "Men." Adrian eyed me coldly, his voice icy. "Evelyn is untamed and disrespectful. Beat her soundly until she apologizes." "Adrian." I raised my voice, looking at him incredulously. "For one, Livia, you'll really do this to me?" The servants exchanged glances, frozen in place, afraid to advance. "Are you all dead?" Adrian bellowed. "Whoever hesitates, I'll beat them too." The servants rushed forward instantly, pinning me down firmly. My knee slammed painfully onto the floor, making me bite my lip. The next second, a burning pain seared my cheek. In the vast room, cold slaps landed repeatedly on my face, the pain blackening my vision. I suddenly recalled the first night at the White family. Due to prolonged isolation from human society, I hid trembling under the bed in fear. Adrian crawled under the bed, holding me tightly, saying, "Don't be afraid, from now on, you're my sister. I'll protect you for life, no one can bully you." Another slap whistled through the air. I turned my head from the impact, a trace of blood seeping from my lip. In a daze, I laughed miserably. The very person who had vowed to protect me now bullied me the most harshly. "Say, will you apologize or not?" Adrian demanded harshly. "Absolutely not." My voice trembled from pain but was remarkably clear. A flicker of reluctance passed through Adrian's eyes, but it was quickly suppressed. "Continue beating." Another slap fell. I clenched my teeth, cold sweat drenching my face, barely able to hold on. After an indeterminable time, as my body grew ever weaker and I was about to collapse, a scream rang out, "Oh no, the young lady is vomiting blood." Adrian rushed forward, pushing the crowd aside, and pulled me into his arms. "Since you can't endure it, just apologize to Livia. One is my wife, the other my sister, I won't favor one over the other." I pushed him away forcefully, wiping the blood from my face. "Keep dreaming your pipe dreams, Adrian. From now on, I, Evelyn, have no ties to you or the White family." Adrian's eyes held mockery. "Evelyn, as I said, I love only Livia. Your haste to sever ties with the White family, could it be you're still secretly in love with me?" I picked up my suitcase again and glanced at him coldly. "You're overthinking, it's purely disgust." "You." "Stop." Livia stepped forward. "If you're severing ties with the White family, leave their things behind." I tossed the suitcase at her feet. "Satisfactory now? I mean all of it." Her eyes were like tempered blades. "Including the clothes on your body, leave every piece behind. After all, when you first came to the White family, you wore nothing. As the future young madam of the White family, my words carry weight, don't they, Adrian?" Adrian hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "All as Livia says." Pain at its extreme numbs further, expressionless, I swiftly removed my clothes. Until I lifted one shoulder strap, only to have my wrist seized abruptly. Adrian's eyes were bloodshot as he growled, "Enough." He tore off his jacket and hurled it at me. "Get out. As far as you can go. In 3 days, whether you live or die has nothing to do with the White family." In a daze, I reached the hotel and collapsed on the bed, releasing my taut nerves. I fell into a deep sleep immediately. After an unknown time, an abrupt doorbell jolted me awake. Yanking open the door, the waiter at the threshold glanced at my face, his expression complicated. "Miss Evelyn, these are items Mr. Leon instructed to deliver to you. He says not to worry and to rest and heal well." I looked down, seeing the bags of new clothes he carried, along with a tube of ointment. Noticing my gaze, he explained softly, "This is a special healing salve. It's very effective for the injuries on your face, prepared specifically by Mr. Leon." I murmured a soft "oh" and mechanically took the items before closing the door. So what was this situation? Wasn't that Leon supposed to be a devil who kills without blinking? Yet he sent me healing ointment. His information network was indeed efficient. It seemed he wasn't as terrifying as the rumors suggested. The healing ointment from Leon proved effective. By the end of the day, the swelling on my face had noticeably subsided. The night before Adrian and Livia's wedding, the sky was abruptly torn open as millions of brilliant fireworks bloomed simultaneously, accompanied by thunderous booms, as if engulfing the entire capital in waves of fiery seas. As expected of Adrian's grand gesture in exchange for this massive fireworks spectacle, dozens of Facebook groups were in chaos, everyone discussing how the White family heir had lavishly spent a fortune just to make his bride smile. I tugged lightly at the corner of my mouth, exiting each Facebook group one by one and blocking Adrian in the process. There was no need for contact anymore anyway. As the night returned to silence, I drained the last sip of red wine from my glass. It was time to set off. Just as I opened the door, I met a pair of deep, dark eyes. Adrian's gaze fixed on my cheek as he murmured softly, "That day, I went too far. I'm here to apologize, Evelyn. If you just yield a little to me and promise to respect Livia as your sister-in-law from now on, I can go to Leon and cancel the agreement. I'm sure he'll give me face." Seeing my silence, he assumed agreement and drew excitedly closer. "But you must promise me not to oppose Livia everywhere. Once she's in the family, all White family matters will be hers to decide. With our over 10 years of sibling bond, I absolutely cannot stand by and watch you enter the dragon's lair and tiger's den." I stared at him for several seconds before suddenly smiling. "Adrian, did those fireworks just now blow your mind silly? It's so late, why aren't you with your wife, coming here to act crazy?" "Since I promised to go to Leon tonight, I absolutely won't go back on it." Adrian staggered back 2 steps. Fine, fine, this is what you said yourself. I must have water on the brain to come find you. I brushed past him, walking forward without looking back. Evelyn. Adrian roared from behind. Go ahead. If you dare, go. Don't regret it. If you take one more step, even if you cry and beg me tomorrow, I won't care. I scoffed, my steps unwavering, and directly entered the Rolls-Royce that had been waiting at the hotel entrance for some time. The next day, at noon. Adrian showed none of the excitement and joy from the wedding. He forced a smile, mechanically following the ceremony, vows, ring exchange. Until the crowd urged him to kiss the bride, he could no longer restrain himself, rising and running out. Adrian! Where are you going? Livia, hiking up her heavy gown, chased after him disregardfully. The groom's sudden flight caught everyone off guard. Once they reacted, they all pursued. When Adrian burst into the bedroom with a large group, I was sound asleep in the man's arms. Awakened by the commotion, I rubbed my eyes and leaned forward to peer at the doorway. With my movement, the blanket slipped from my shoulders, revealing the dense red marks on my body. The next second, a large, knuckled hand reached out, pulling me back into the covers and concealing the ambiguous marks, so swiftly that the previous scene seemed merely a collective illusion. Amid everyone's incredulous stares, Adrian approached me in a daze, his eyes bloodshot as he trembled. Evelyn, you actually dared. Last night, while entwined with him, did you consider my feelings? I yawned lazily and asked puzzledly, Adrian, those fireworks last night really did blow your mind silly. At this hour, shouldn't you be consummating with the bride? What brings you here? No sooner had I spoken than the others seemed to catch on, urging him one after another. Yes, Adrian, today is your joyous wedding day, the ceremony isn't over yet. What are you doing here? Exactly, all the capital's dignitaries are here, with so many media outlets live streaming. If you do this, where does that leave the White family's face, or the bride's? Now you've seen it, those two are on good terms, no need for your unfounded worries. Hurry back with us. Several stepped forward to pull him, but he remained immobile, feet rooted to the spot, lips quivering as he stared fixedly at me. An awkward atmosphere spread, with everyone's gazes shifting between me and Adrian. Gradually, whispers arose around us. Everyone in the capital knew Evelyn loved Adrian to death, yet Adrian always pined for his first love, Livia. This situation feels off no matter how I look at it. Yeah, look at Adrian's expression, he looks about to cry. This isn't the face of someone marrying his first love, it's clearly heartbreak. So, does he actually like Evelyn? Then what's with Livia? Who knows? Evelyn liked him for so many years, and he always avoided her. Who can fathom what's in his heart? Getting married without figuring out who he likes, this is textbook scumbag behavior, isn't it? Hearing the discussions, Livia's face grew increasingly pale. She hurried forward, tugging at Adrian's sleeve. Adrian. Adrian flung her off abruptly and turned to me urgently. Evelyn, don't hold out, I know Leon better than anyone. How could a man like him know tenderness? Those marks on you. He gritted his teeth, his face darkening further, enunciating each word. Those marks on your body must be from his abuse last night. Just say you're unwilling, and today, even if it costs my life, I'll bring you home. Do you remember what I once told you? I'd protect you for life, never letting others bully you. As long as you come back with me, I promise you'll always be the White family's young lady. I won't interfere with you anymore. As long as you're happy, do whatever you want, like whoever you want, just come with me. Listening to his incessant rambling, I was speechless, inwardly cursing his boundless depravity. How had I never noticed how low he was before? Liking him for so many years was truly a dark chapter in my history. Adrian. Livia finally couldn't hold back, crying out, today is our wedding day. You abandoned me in front of everyone to find her, what am I to you? All for one slut. Shut up. Adrian interrupted her harshly. Watch your mouth. Livia trembled with rage, a flash of hatred in her eyes. Seeing my continued silence, Adrian anxiously stepped forward to pull me. Just as his hand was about to touch my body, he was kicked squarely in the chest, flying far away. He fell flat on his face, spitting a mouthful of blood, and lay there unable to rise for a long while. The man's strike was swift and ruthless, a large hand clamped tightly around my waist, followed by a low, magnetic voice behind me, "Adrian, you dare touch my woman?" Half an hour later, the group stood in the Tan family reception hall. Only then did I have the chance to observe Leon closely. He lounged against the sofa, casually draped in a jacket, disheveled hair falling over his forehead, exuding lazy nonchalance yet enveloped in an aura of imperial dignity. One hand idly tapped the desk lightly, while the other gripped my waist like an iron band, firmly securing me in his personal territory. Seeing me lost in gazing at Leon, Adrian could no longer tolerate it and growled lowly, "Evelyn, mind your conduct. Have you even been listening to me?" Only then did I shift my gaze, which had been fixed on Leon's face, and gave him an indescribably weary glance. "I heard, but I don't want to acknowledge you." "Can't you tell?" He hadn't expected this response. He took a deep breath. "I know you're still angry with me, resenting me for sending you to him, so you're lashing out at me in spite, right? Evelyn, I truly know I was wrong. As long as you come home with me, I'll compensate you with anything you desire." Seeing me lower my head, my body trembling slightly, a mix of pain and pity crept into his eyes. "I knew it, that bastard Leon must have abused you. What did he do to make you fear him like this?" "Evelyn, I didn't sleep a wink last night. Whenever I closed my eyes, I saw you in agonized tears. I'm driving myself mad. I know you don't want to be with him. Be good, listen, give me your hand, and I'll take you home." I couldn't hold back any more and burst out laughing with a pft. Adrian's expression froze on his face. Leon removed his hand from my waist and interlaced our fingers. "Oh? I heard you fear me?" I shook my head. "You misheard, nothing of the sort." The man's eyes held a smile. "Then, do you wish to be with me?" I nodded. "What do you think?" "I'm already yours." Adrian looked at me in disbelief, his fingertips trembling violently. Leon lifted his eyelids, casting a cool glance at him. "Heard that, Adrian? If you're wise, get out now, otherwise, if I personally see you off, it won't be pretty." Seeing Adrian frozen in place, his accompanying brothers stepped forward to drag him. "Don't mind me, get lost, all of you." Adrian struggled desperately, like a frenzied beast. After causing such a scene at the wedding today and following Adrian here to lose face, even the most good-tempered among the crowd darkened their expressions. "Adrian, wasn't it you who pawned Evelyn to Leon for a fireworks show? What does this mean now? One moment you like this one, the next that, marriage isn't child's play. Can you stop being so immature? When Evelyn liked you, you despised her so much you wished never to see her again. Now that she doesn't like you, you're eagerly clinging. How can you be so pathetic?" I suddenly recalled when I first fell for Adrian, in my teens, bold in love and hate. I confessed to him publicly before crowds more than once, yet Adrian fled from me like a flood or fierce beast, as far as he could. The longest time, to avoid me, he stayed abroad for a full 3 years without returning. In those 3 years, he vanished into thin air. I couldn't find traces of him, my messages sank without reply. 3 years of anxiety and insecurity made me sensitive and suspicious, tiptoeing around him. 3 years later, he finally returned, breathless. I rushed to his welcome banquet, only to see him embracing a strange girl, introducing her to everyone as his first love, whom he had pursued with utmost effort for so long to win. That girl was Livia. I returned home in despair, burying my affections deep within, never mentioning them again thereafter. Perhaps recalling those unpleasant memories, my complexion soured. Leon gently squeezed my knuckle and gave me a soothing smile. Strangely, my heart calmed. But our interaction thoroughly enraged Adrian. He suddenly charged at us, raising his foot to kick Leon in the chest. Leon didn't even furrow his brow. With a grab and twist of his large hand, he snapped Adrian's ankle outright. Adrian let out a miserable scream, collapsing to the ground drenched in sweat, writhing like a stranded fish, pain rendering him speechless. The commotion in the room seemed to trigger a mechanism. A group of highly trained individuals silently surged in, encircling Adrian's group tightly. Upon seeing the row of dark gun barrels, their faces paled instantly. "Leon, what do you mean by this? Do you intend to silence us all?" Leon advanced leisurely, gazing at Adrian like an ant. "That depends on Adrian's intentions. If he keeps causing a ruckus and startles my men into an accidental discharge, I can't be held responsible." Adrian bit his lip hard, a trace of fear entering his gaze toward Leon. Leon's patience finally exhausted, he spoke icily, "Everyone, see yourselves out, no need to escort." Just as they were about to exit, the hitherto silent Livia suddenly moved. She abruptly seized the gun from the nearest person, aiming it at me. "Evelyn, go die. It's all because of you that Adrian is bewitched, abandoning me at the wedding to run off. As long as you're dead, Adrian will be mine alone." She appeared deranged, her hateful eyes as if to devour me alive. "You filthy slut, just a wild hen from the forest, yet you think you can climb to become a white family phoenix? Die, die. Adrian loves only me." "Livia, you're insane, put the gun down." Adrian, enduring the agony, stepped forward to wrest the gun from her. "Adrian, you're the crazy one. Have you forgotten what you said at the wedding? You vowed to love and protect me forever, now what? For this wretch, you're crying and fussing like a fool. What am I to you? Evelyn must die, I'll kill her, I must kill her." In the struggle, the safety catch clicked open with a clack. Leon pressed my head into his chest, shielding me with his body sideways. The next second, bang bang bang. After several shots, Livia emitted a piercing scream. "Ah, it hurts so much, my hands, Adrian, save me." Livia had taken a bullet in each hand, now she rolled on the ground in agony, her face a mess of tears and saliva, wailing incessantly. Her hands were twisted grotesquely against her chest, blood gushing forth, soon pooling a crimson stain on the floor. Witnessing the scene, everyone's faces turned ashen, not daring to breathe. Adrian stood on one leg, comically frozen in place, his face defeated, eyes void of desolation. Leon remained composed as if nothing had occurred. He glanced disdainfully at Livia on the floor, his voice chilling. "This time, it's just your two hands ruined. If there's a next time, I'll aim for your head." The blood on the floor spread further, those horrific forest memories flooding back. My body trembled faintly, my legs losing strength. Leon scooped me up horizontally and strode swiftly into the bedroom, sparing the group not another glance. When I awoke again, night had fully fallen. Leon had guarded by the bed for an unknown duration and was now asleep against the chair. Hearing my movement, he opened his eyes immediately, bloodshot with fatigue. A glass of water reached my lips, his voice was hoarse. "Drink some to moisten your throat." My head still ached slightly, I shook it vigorously, casting those bad memories aside. Leon's face was full of guilt. "I'm sorry, I was inconsiderate and frightened you. The situation was so urgent then, so I—" "It's fine," I shook my head, racking my brain for a suitable phrasing. "It's just because—" "I know." He suddenly took my hand, gazing earnestly into my eyes. "That incident in the forest back then became your psychological trauma." I gaped in surprise. "How did you know?" He stared into my eyes, a hint of amusement flickering, but said nothing. In a flash, an improbable yet logical thought struck me. Could you be the other boy from back then? Compared to Adrian back then, the other boy was far more composed. He spoke little but never faltered in crucial moments. We simply got separated. Later, from white family members, I learned he had been rescued too, so I didn't dwell on it, though I occasionally wondered about him. How was he faring now, and had he, like me, been scarred by those events? Now it seemed I had overthought. He was doing well. He nodded gently. "Yes, you saved me." I felt a bit embarrassed. "I didn't do much. In the end, I even lost you. Actually, even without me, you could have escaped that forest." "No," his expression turned serious. "Without you, I'd have died there long ago, never making it out. I was just one step too late, he suddenly wore a grieved look. I accidentally fell into a trap. By the time my family found me, you were already adopted by the whites. If I'd been faster, you'd be a tan. An awkward yet ambiguous atmosphere permeated. I cleared my throat lightly, saying nothing, and silence fell over the room. He suddenly grasped my hand, his ears flushing crimson. Will you stay by my side? I know you dislike promises, I'll prove it with my actions. I looked at him, my expression complex. I thought that night was just a momentary indulgence. He shook his head. That night was indeed, but my feelings are genuine, the two aren't mutually exclusive. Evelyn, he called my name solemnly. Will you stay by my side? I nodded gently. Yes, I will. What harm in trying again? Now I was indestructible. Even if I lost the bet once more, I'd have the courage to start over. Moreover, Leon was nothing like Adrian. I believed he wouldn't let me lose. And one more thing. Leon handed me his phone, displaying a trending news headline. Adrian and Livia had called off the wedding. With one having a broken leg and the other crippled hands, both still hospitalized, the annulment news spread like wildfire. Coupled with the groom abandoning the bride on the wedding day, the elite family's saga of love and hate always fueled endless gossip. Now, media and onlookers swarmed the hospital inside and out, impenetrable. Netizens, veritable detectives, soon unearthed every detail of their romance. I scrolled through casually, my name wasn't mentioned, glancing at Leon beside me. It must have been his preemptive arrangements. A warm current surged within me. I set down the phone and nestled back into the cozy bedding. A touch of happiness, how I wanted to sleep for 3 days and nights. After discharge, Adrian neither worked nor salvaged the White family's public image. Daily, he hobbled on crutches to the tan residence. Leon never allowed him entry but also forbade driving him away. From dawn to dusk, rain or shine, he persisted, soon becoming the talk of the upper echelons. Rumor had it Livia's hands were irreparably ruined. She required constant care for every meal and bodily function. Upon waking to this blow, she attempted suicide multiple times. Ultimately, even her chief family couldn't endure it and hired caregivers to forcibly send her abroad. That day, after Leon and I watched a midnight movie, upon reaching home, a crouching shadow startled me at the door. Evelyn. Drawing closer, I realized the shadow was Adrian. He gazed at me obsessively, unwilling to blink. Leon's face darkened instantly. He positioned himself before me, blocking Adrian's view, and sneered. I never knew Adrian had a fetish for crouching at people's walls in the dead of night. Adrian pleaded lowly, please, let me speak a few words to Evelyn, it won't take long. No. It's very late, Evelyn needs to sleep. I gently pushed him. Leon, it's fine, some things need clarifying. Go inside first. His face remained cold, unwilling to budge. I sighed, tiptoed, and planted a soft kiss on his cheek, whispering, "This okay now?" 5 minutes is all. Witnessing this, Adrian's face turned ashen. After a long pause, he forced a smile uglier than crying. Evelyn, do I truly have no chance? I really love you, my love for you isn't less than Leon's. If you'll just turn back, glance at me. Actually, I fell for you long ago, but I refused to admit it. In my heart, you were both my savior and my sister, how could we be together? So, upon hearing you liked me, my first reaction was anger. It shouldn't be like this. Later, I started avoiding you. Seeing your disappointed eyes pained me as if my heart were shattering. Then Livia appeared, filling my inner void, leading me to mistake it for love. But it wasn't. Even with her, my thoughts were always of you. I couldn't control my urge to follow your every move, couldn't reign in my heart, so I thought of sending you to Leon. Evelyn, I was wrong, truly wrong. Please, forgive me? I looked at this man I had once loved for many years. Now, facing him, only calm remained in my heart. I gave you many chances before, it was you who pushed me away time and again. Glancing toward Leon, I spoke softly. Over a dozen years, you never once looked back at me. Had you cared for my feelings even once, we wouldn't have reached this point. Adrian, go, don't come again. I stopped loving you long ago. Adrian's lips quivered, stunned for a long moment, as if struck by a thought. He suddenly knelt and burst into uncontrollable sobs. I ignored him no longer. Turning to return home, someone awaited me there. Just stepping into the room, a pair of large hands pinned me against the wall. The next second, an onslaught of kisses overwhelmed me. Kissed breathless, I pushed for half a minute before shoving him away. Leon pressed me firmly into the bed, his voice hoarse. "You're mine alone." I gently patted his back, repeating, "Yes, I'm yours alone." Later on, I heard Adrian had gone abroad too, returning to Livia's side, caring for her devotedly to make amends. "Evelyn, your favorite movie is re-releasing. I bought tickets, shall we go tonight?" I turned off my phone and set it aside. "Sure."